Is this the Jovan?
Sure is.
Crazy, crazy. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I just think it's interesting you're claiming I don't know the facts about the case, yet you guys keep pushing
Yeah, that's true.
uncorroborated witness statements.
What was
As
that?
you keep pushing uncorroborated witness statements as your whole linchpin of the case.
By uncorroborated, you mean that it didn't match facts about the case not known to the public?
I mean that it didn't matter, that their stories consistently changed from the moment they talked to police through trial. I mean, it's the fact that witnesses saw Asaro entering his car and breaking into his car with a screwdriver. I think it leads to the fact that Cole's son claimed that Cole was cooking up something while in prison, and that Cole and Asaro were both known liars who lied to police in order to lighten their sentences. It's the fact that Asaro used her speaking to police to remove warrants that she had. These witnesses are not reliable, plain and simple.
Yeah, well, look, so let's go through, one by one. So a few of the things that you mentioned aren't going to be relevant as to whether the story is true, or they're not going to be as evidentiarily valuable as the fact that there's these details about the crime that aren't known to the public. So
wait, really quickly, hold on. I want to talk about the fact that the detectives who interviewed Cole knew all of these details and did not record the interview that they had with Cole.
They did record the interview. It was played for the jury.
They did not record the entirety of the interview. That's a lie.
The entirety of the interview is recorded, but not the entirety of the interview is played for the jury.
Nope, not the entirety of the interview was not recorded.
You're misinformed.
The entirety of the interview was not recorded.
If you go back and read the 2001 trial transcripts, it's mentioned numerous times that the entirety of the 3-hour footage of Cole's interview is recorded.
It was not. Unfortunately,
you're just wrong.
No, you are wrong about that.
Yeah. Okay. What's your source for that?
It's hold on, I'll pull it up right now. So this is going to be in T2473. So only a portion of the interview that Cole had with police was video recorded. Nothing else was recorded.
What document is this from?
So this is the motion for the stay of execution.
Oh, okay. So this is talking about what they have available to them in 2023, or this is referring to what they have available to them in 2001?
This is the entirety of the evidence that's available currently.
That's available currently. That's a different claim than what I just said. Is that what I just said? What I just said is that the entirety of the interview.
Wait, I'm sorry. Do you think they destroyed evidence
during the trial in 2001?
Do you think they've destroyed evidence since then? Is that what you're claiming?
Not every part of the video recording was entered into evidence because there was parts that were inadmissible.
Such as
things that would have been hearsay wouldn't have been admissible.
Like.
I didn't watch the 3-hour recording, Jovan.
Oh, okay. Okay, just making sure.
Is that really, you really needed to know that?
Well, yeah, I mean, if there are large portions of the thing that are not shown, and the only details that they said are not known to the public are details that the police had, and we know for a fact that police can and do influence interview and interrogation testimony, then how are you using this as a linchpin? Well, for them not knowing details is the entirety of even though their stories also don't match what was known about the case.
That's not true. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. But first, do you agree that you were wrong when you said they didn't record the interview?
Again, they did not record the entirety of the interview.
They did record. There's a difference between they don't have the entirety of the interview entered into evidence and they didn't record the entirety of the interview. Those are two different claims.
No, they don't have the entirety of the interview.
Okay, so you're wrong about that. So that's number one claim that you're wrong about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then we can get into the details about the crime. Do you know what details about the crime Cole knew that weren't available to the public?
It was the way that the victim was killed.
Do you think that that's all that it was?
That's the bulk of what they used, yeah.
That's not all that they used. That's not all that it was. It was also the fact that he rinsed off after he committed the crime in the upstairs bathroom. This was not in any news reports at the time, and the police investigators found blood in the upstairs bathroom. That's one. The prosecution did use that. What you're saying about the way that she was killed, the prosecutors did use that. The fact that the knife was twisted in her neck until they heard a pop and left there, and the fact that when she was first stabbed, it was in her arm and took a chunk of flesh off. Not in news reports at the time, they used that. The layout of the house and the fact that they had a T staircase was described by Cole in the portion of the video recording played for the jury, not available in any media outlet at the time, and yet was in Cole's testimony. The type of knife, I'm trying to remember what else. There's some other details too. But are you aware of those?
Yeah, none of that takes into account the fact that Cole also got details completely wrong about what was happening in the case.
Such as?
Sure, let's go through all of them. Let's go through like literally all the things that were contradictory evidence. So specifically, Cole claimed that when Williams, Gail was in the shower, Williams took the computer and the purse from upstairs. Yet Williams's husband, Gail's husband, literally said that the purse is kept downstairs in the kitchen closet on the first floor. So
and the purse couldn't possibly have been somewhere different that day, right?
From where it always is. All of a sudden, the purse is moved on the day that she's murdered.
All right, you can continue because
wait, hold on. It's always in this one spot, but now all of a sudden it's moved.
I think the audience can tell how weak that is. You can move to the next one.
This is okay. Yeah, I'm sure. I love the way you do it. I love that you don't acknowledge anything. Sure. Cole claimed I'm not done. I know you want me to continue, so I'm going to continue. Yeah. Cole said that he came downstairs and he was like rummaging and looking for other things to steal, yet the husband said that none of the other rooms were disturbed. The den, the living room, the dining room were all not undisturbed. So he went downstairs. He said that Williams was like, yeah, I went downstairs and I was looking for other stuff. Yeah, there's nothing disturbed, nothing taken, none of that. He said that he went through the kitchen other than getting the knife. I'm sorry. He said that Mr. Williams didn't say that he went through the kitchen, even though the kitchen was a mess, drawers were pulled out, all that stuff. Freezer door was open, items in the freezer had moved, yet Cole didn't know anything about him being in the kitchen. He just was like, oh, no, not in the kitchen, never heard anything about the kitchen. Interesting fact to like not know when you apparently know intimate details about the case. Mm-hmm. He also said that he targeted her house because there was a tree that shielded the house from neighbors. The tree was not shielding anything. Tree in the front wasn't big enough to shield the front porch. None of that happened. There's also all of the inconsistencies in Cole's stories between the times he told the stories, such as saying that, oh, Williams came out to me after we read an article, and then later it's, well, no, Williams actually came out to me after we watched the story on the news. Then there was Cole saying, oh, Williams told me that he took all of this stuff, but then when he's in a deposition, when he's at trial, he's like, oh, no, actually, there's more. He took all X, Y, and Z. There is him saying that he took a T-shirt from the victim, but no, now it's a sweater. Now it's a sweater. He didn't take a T-shirt. He took a sweater now. My apologies. I was wrong about the T-shirt. It's a sweater. Then they're saying, Wilster saying that he wore gloves when he committed the murder, but then at trial saying that he wore gloves because he wasn't worried about leaving behind prints, even though prints were left behind. Like, it's consistent inconsistencies. It's consistent stories changes. It's the fact that their own family said that they consistently lied to police in order to receive some sort of benefits. It's the fact that Cole's own son said Cole was cooking up something while he was in prison with Williams. It's the fact, it's all these little inconsistencies that go, these two witnesses are not reliable enough to 100% secure guilt when there is nothing else besides witness statements and the laptop and the calculator, which, again, Asaro was seen, this again, by witnesses, repeatedly breaking into Williams' car with a screwdriver. Easily could have put the calculator in the car.
Okay, I would prefer to go through the inconsistencies one by one instead of like I have to remember 15 things and then respond to them, but I'll try to respond to what I remember you mentioning. So the first thing was the purse. So actually the first 2 or 3 things you mentioned was the victim's husband testifying as to the victim doing things normally which are inconsistent with the story. So it's someone who, wasn't at the crime scene testifying that like normally she kept her purse downstairs. Now they also had their weekly house cleaner testify during the trial. The house cleaner testified that the purse was sometimes kept downstairs, especially when the victim had just gotten home from work or was getting ready to leave, which was the case here. So the house cleaner testified to that. I don't think that there's any evidence to say that Cole is incorrect about that fact.
No, Cole's claim was that the purse was found upstairs.
Or sorry, just switch whatever I said. Like the house cleaner said when she got home from work it was upstairs. I said it backwards or whatever, but the house cleaner also said the purse was regularly all around at random places in the house. Upstairs, downstairs.
So again, we're choosing based on just two witness statements with no evidence. The housekeeper is saying the purse was kept in other places. The husband is saying the purse was kept in one specific place. So now it's just hearsay. It's just hearsay based on these two.
Where the purse is hearsay. But notice that where the purse is isn't one of the facts that I mentioned as to the credibility of the testimony. What I'm pointing out is that there's no reason to think that the purse's location in the testimony counts against it.
I think there is 100%. I think that when somebody's husband says this is usually kept here, and then another person says, well, I think sometimes it might have been here. For what? Like, no, the husband says that the purse is usually kept in the closet on the first floor. That's where the purse is usually kept. And if somebody is claiming that Williams went upstairs and took the purse and the computer when we have no evidence the purse was upstairs, kind of doesn't really.
Yeah. Okay. This is like, you have to see that this is like the stupidest point that you could possibly make, right? I mean,
So hold on. So this is the issue. Because this is the issue that you're doing.
The husband.
Not this one point.
The husband.
Not this one. No, I'm going to keep talking.
Because you won't let me. You won't let me. Yeah. Sorry. You won't let me address them one by one. You just want to rattle off.
Don't mute me. If you want me here, don't mute me.
Things. You just want to rattle off 55 different things. No, we're going to discuss.
If you want me here, don't mute me. Plain and simple.
We're going to discuss this one thing. So
again, I'm responding to something you just said. I'm going to respond to something you just said.
Stop cutting me off.
I'm going to respond to something.
You can respond, but you don't.
I'm going to respond to what you just said.
I didn't finish making the point that I was going to make. So I let you rattle off 15 different points, and
I'm gonna respond to the thing you just said.
A discussion about the first one, you cut me off.
I'm gonna respond to what you just said, plain and simple. If you don't want me to respond to something you say, don't say something.
When I'm finished with the thought.
I'm gonna respond to what you just said. I'm gonna respond to it.
When I'm done with the thought, you can feel free to do that. When I'm done with the thought, you can feel free to do that.
Muting me, I'm gonna bounce out.
Yeah, you can run away.
Because you're afraid to have the conversation.
You can suicide by mod. You can suicide by mod
because to have the conversation right now.
You're free to do that.
You're fully afraid to have the conversation. I'm going to respond to what you just said.
Well, you can respond to what I just said as soon as I finish the thought. Okay. I'm just gonna finish the thought and keep you muted, and then I'm going to let you ramble as long as you want to. So the point is that the specific. Oh, and Jovan ran. Anyways, I'll explain to the audience. So the specific point that we're talking about is whether or not the fact that Cole said the purse was found upstairs is evidence that his testimony was untruthful. Now, Jovan's evidence for this testimony being untruthful is that the husband who wasn't at home at the time of the murder testified that, here, Jovan can come back up. So the husband who wasn't at the crime scene testified that the victim normally kept normally kept the purse.
Not what I said, by the way.
Upstairs. And yet the house cleaner, who was also regularly at their home, testified that the victim kept the purse downstairs sometimes, upstairs sometimes. It might vary depending on the time of day, whether she was coming home from work or not. So we don't have a reason to think that the purse was upstairs or downstairs. And if we don't have a reason to think the purse was upstairs,
she wasn't coming home from work,
then we don't have a reason to think that Cole is lying about where he got the purse from.
Yeah, so I'm gonna address finally what you said, since now I can talk, because apparently you want me to be up here but keep muting me. So first and foremost, I didn't say that the proof that the witness testimony is unreliable is this one little thing. It's the fact that it's an amalgamation of things, and to claim that, oh, the witness test is unreliable because you said the purse was somewhere else is disingenuous, and you know it's disingenuous. If you want to keep being disingenuous, you can do that, but don't try to put words in my mouth that I didn't say. It's an amalgamation of multiple things the witness sorry, coughing. Multiple things that the witness said being inconsistent with the facts of the case. Multiple things the witness said being changed from what the witness said previously. It's the fact that the witness, when they came forward, specifically Cole, wouldn't speak until he made very clear he was getting money for it, even though he could have come forward well before if Mr. Williams confessed this crime to him, could have come forward at any point. It's the fact that Asaro took pardons for her warrants in order to give testimony. It's the fact that Asaro claimed, oh, well, the reason my testimony was so inconsistent is because I was on drugs, yet her testimony was so inconsistent because of the drug use, yet we're still going to take it as a reason to convict this man for a life sentence and kill him. It's an amalgamation of things. So when you say, oh, it's this one thing is the problem, you're being disingenuous, and you know you're being disingenuous. And I have a feeling that the reason you're being disingenuous is because you can't be genuine with the entirety of what's happening.
Okay, so let me just correct one thing. When I say that we're talking about this one thing, I'm not saying that Jovan's evidence or case that he's innocent depends on this one fact about the laptop bag being upstairs. But what I'm saying is that I am unable to address 15 different things at once. So I'm going to address the evidentiary value of one thing at a time. So I want to look at this first thing that you mentioned and see, does this give evidentiary value to Cole's testimony being false? And then if it doesn't, we can move on to the next thing and see, does that
said, and I quote, Jovan said this witness testimony is unreliable because he said the purse was in a different place.
That's one of the reasons you gave. That's one of the reasons you gave.
You didn't say one of the reasons. Don't play stupid. You didn't say one of the reasons. You said Jovan's claim is he's inconsistent because of X, when I said multiple reasons are why he's inconsistent.
Okay. So when you say that someone said X because of Y, when you make statements like that, this is how language works. It's not always explaining
a conversation about how language works.
It can explain partial causes.
A conversation about how language works. If you want to be specific about the case, be specific in the way you also put my interpretation of the case. Plain and simple.
Yeah, when I say like the match,
I don't care about how language works. If you want to be specific about the case, be specific about the way I'm framing the case.
The fire.
I know you're just being disingenuous now.
Jovan, I was quiet. I was quiet the entire time that you were speaking, and you are just a chronic overtalker. And then you want to cry when you get muted.
All you're doing right now is debating something else. I don't care about how language works. If you're going to be specific about the case, be specific in my framing about the case as well. Plain and simple.
So I didn't say anything incorrect about your framing about the case.
Yes, you did.
So I said that Jovan said that this testimony is non-credible because of this discrepancy with the location of the laptop, I was correctly characterizing what you said, because to say that that is the reason why is not to say that it's the only reason why.
So again, the purse being kept in the kitchen closet on the first floor, that is where the purse was kept predominantly of the time. That's what we know. Dr. Pickus said the purse was kept predominantly the most of the time. You then went on to say, well, what if she was coming home from work? Maybe the purse was in a different place, except she wasn't. She had just gotten back from a run. That's why she was taking a shower. And why would the purse move for her going on a run and coming home? There's no evidence that the purse was anywhere else except where her husband said the purse was. So now we're just going off of hearsay as this point to claim, well, Cole is credible, even though all he's giving is hearsay evidence.
If we're
doesn't even match.
Well, wait, if where the purse is hearsay, that's really bad for you, because the evidence for Cole's testimony being reliable isn't citing the purse, but the evidence for his testimony being unreliable does cite the purse. So if that's just hearsay, that's bad for your point, not mine.
Him stealing the purse was known information to the case.
Yes, Jovan.
So Cole knowing that he took the purse isn't saying anything, because Cole was heavily following No, Cole was heavily following the case. So Cole knew that the purse was gone. So Cole just knowing that Mr. Williams took the purse is not a W in Cole's pocket, especially when the facts that he said are inconsistent and contradictory with the evidence found at the scene of the crime.
So, right now we're talking about the purse. I'm happy to move on to the other stuff. I don't even think that the purse thing is that important, but I mean, you seem to think that it is. I think most people can see that
it's an amalgamation. I've said this already.
Yeah, so do you want to move on to something other than the purse and just let the audience make up their minds about whether the purse is a reason to doubt his testimony?
Sure, we can move on to whatever else you want.
Yeah, well, so how do you think that he knew that Marcus had rinsed off in the upstairs bathroom, or whoever the killer was had rinsed off in the upstairs bathroom?
How do I think he knew? Again, most of what I believe that Cole knew is going to be information subconsciously planted by police, because we know police to do this constantly, especially when it comes to false. I'm not done. Especially when it comes to false convictions, especially when it comes to black victims of false convictions. Police will convince people to completely admit to crimes that they never even did, or places they never even were. Right. So when we're talking about, oh, well, how did he know that the knife was rinsed off upstairs? Okay, well, first and foremost, just because there's blood in the sink doesn't mean because the knife wasn't found to be rinsed off.
I didn't say
blood
that.
on the knife.
I didn't say that. I said that Marcus had cleaned up upstairs, or the killer had cleaned up upstairs. I didn't say anything about the knife.
Except there was blood found upstairs.
I did say that there was blood found upstairs. I didn't say anything about the knife.
So he cleaned up your whole evidence that he cleaned up is because there was some blood in the sink.
Not my whole evidence. This is what the investigators testified.
The investigators' entire evidence is that that he cleaned up because
that's not their entire evidence. Remember what you just accused me of mischaracterizing you about?
I said their entire evidence of them cleaning up is that there was blood in the sink. Correct?
No, not blood in the sink, blood in the bathroom.
So blood in the bathroom that she was in when she was in the shower, right?
Not the bathroom she was in when she was killed.
So let's just confirm something here. Blood being in the bathroom means that he cleaned up the crime scene. Yes or no?
No, of course not.
Being made.
Of course not.
Then why are we saying he cleaned up the crime scene?
No, the point is that if he cleaned up after killing her in the bathroom, it would be expected there would be blood in the bathroom. It's evidence that he cleaned up in the bathroom.
Well, no. Again, what he specifically claimed. Hold on, let me find it real quick. I'm sorry. It wasn't what Cole claimed. It was what Asaro claimed. Asaro claimed that he cleaned off the knife, yet the knife wasn't cleaned off. So we're hearing conflicting information from both witnesses. So one witness, I won't even call them witnesses because they weren't witnesses to the crime. The one witness testimony was that the knife was or there was cleanup. The other was that there wasn't cleanup. Is that what I'm hearing right now?
No. Can you try to focus on what I'm saying? What I'm asking
I
you.
am fully focused on what you're saying. Don't do that.
Okay.
If you're gonna ad hom, I'll just bounce straight up.
That's not an ad hom, Jovan.
I would say it is when it's combined with the other stuff you said. Yeah, 100%.
All right, Jovan. So what I'm saying is that Cole testified that Marcus told him that he had cleaned up in the upstairs bathroom after committing the crime. Investigators confirmed that there was blood in the upstairs bathroom upon him committing the crime. The fact that there's blood there is consistent with Cole's story. That's the point. The fact that there was blood in the upstairs bathroom wasn't something that was in any public news media publications prior to Cole's testimony.
Well, good thing Cole didn't say there was blood in the bathroom. He only said he cleaned up in the bathroom.
That is consistent with expected.
Hold on. But what you just said was Cole there being blood in the bathroom is shows that Cole knew details intimate to the case, except Cole didn't know there was blood in the bathroom. All he said is that he went upstairs and cleaned in the bathroom. Now we're using the blood in the bathroom. Who did the blood belong to?
The victim. Or sorry, not the victim. Yeah, the victim.
Was
Yeah,
it the
my
victim
bad.
or not the victim?
But we're expecting that Cole could make fifth grade inferences like
Was
that.
it the victim or hold on? Was it the victim or not the victim?
Yeah, it was the victim. So Cole can make. We're assuming that Cole can make fifth grade inferences like that. If someone washes off after a murder, they're going to leave blood behind.
Again, Cole didn't say anything about there being blood left behind.
Are you stupid? What the fuck?
Did Cole? I see. This is what I knew. I knew you were just going to ask. Did Cole say there was blood left behind? Yes or no?
I'm not sure if Cole said there was blood left behind.
Thank you. So when you go, are you stupid or not for me asking a question, then you're going, well, I don't know. I don't think he said that. So shut the fuck up. Like plain and simple, bro. Like it's so fucking nutty.
Yeah, that's right. The thing I was calling you stupid for was like not thinking that Cole could make the inference from the fact that
Cole wasn't making an inference
from the fact
Cole was not making an inference.
In the bathroom
That's what I'm saying.
Blood there.
Cole was not making an inference. That's what I'm saying.
Do you think that because an inference isn't explicitly stated, the inference isn't made?
Yeah, I'm saying Cole did not make an inference. Yes, I'm saying that 100%.
Now you're taking a burden of proof to show Cole didn't make the inference. Can you pull up? Can you
show he did? The fuck
no,
do you mean?
I said I don't know
show
if he.
Cole made an inference.
No,
you just said
God,
Cole made an inference. Show he made an inference.
No, I said I don't know if he explicitly stated there was blood there. What I do know that he stated
you just said Cole made an inference, so show that he made an inference.
No, I said do you think that Cole could make an inference that a fifth grader could make? That's what I asked you.
You just said he made the inference.
I said he could have made the inference.
Made it.
Is it, do you really not think you're grasping at straws here?
I'm not. You just said he made an inference.
Yeah. You think that like the fact that you could get from a killer rinsed off to there's blood on the floor is like something that needs to be explicitly stated.
I think when all you have is unreliable witness testimony, that is, you can't prove fucking innocence beyond a shadow of it, or guilt beyond a shadow of a doubt. Therefore, this man should not have been fucking set to the death penalty, because you can't prove it guilt beyond a fucking shadow of a doubt when there are inconsistencies in the witness statements, inconsistencies with their statements towards each other. There were other witnesses that were not allowed to speak or verify all the things that they or say everything that had happened. Yeah, I'm going to say that's what I'm going to say 100%.
Yeah, so you, just to be clear, you don't at all find it unusual that he would know that there would be blood in the bathroom, and he would know that.
I've already explained this.
But you don't find that at all something that would need to be explained.
So this is why we keep saying that you guys are just like blind to like racial issues, because again, police.
Now you're changing the subject.
I'm not changing the subject. I'm talking about this exact thing. You can say it's a claim change of subject when it's not. Police consistently will plant evidence into people's minds, not in ways that people don't even realize, so that people will admit to seeing things or admit to doing crimes that they didn't see and or do. It happens all the time. All of the time.
Your claim is that it's likely he didn't actually believe prior to the police interviewing him that Marcelllus had rinsed the blood off of him.
My claim is that it's fully likely he didn't know any of these intimate details before the police questioned him.
And you're aware that that him making these statements and the context around the police's questioning of him making these statements was played on a recording for the jury, correct?
Not the entire recording. You admitted that yourself.
Matter. Yes, the parts of the recording that were cut out was when he was sitting in a room by himself. There's a massive amount of things
unaccounted for here in his conversations with police. Yes, 100%.
The parts where he was sitting by himself were not played to the jury.
There were. Do you think that's the only parts that weren't played to the jury? You said there were also stuff left out that might have been hearsay. So that stuff was left out. So now you're changing the story about what was and was not left out of the conversation.
I told you that inadmissible parts weren't played to the jury, but the fact is that these.
So we don't know the entirety of the conversation.
You're a chronic overtalker.
Because
so
you keep changing your story.
You, I don't care what your reason is. Just stop overtalking. The reason why. What I'm telling you isn't that there's no parts which weren't submitted into evidence. What I'm telling you is that the parts that were submitted into evidence were parts including his confession to his testimony of these details of the crime and the surrounding context. Even if there is other parts which weren't included, that's not relevant to whether these sections were included.
Yes, it is, because we don't know the entirety of the conversation. You're saying, well, these sections where he admitted to this, we don't know that they hadn't shown him or convinced him about stuff prior to the parts that were recorded. We have no idea. And to act like police don't do this all the time is nonsense.
No one's saying that police don't do this, but at this point, what you're doing is conspiracy theorizing that they did this in this case with no evidence and plenty of evidence to the contrary.
It's not conspiracy oh my God, you don't understand how fucking police work. When police have cold cases that they have not been solved, especially for years, and they have a slight lead, they're gonna go after that lead. I know this, you should know this, especially if you live in America. This isn't new stuff. So they get their first lead in a while on this new case. They convince there's a high likelihood that they gave Cole information that Cole didn't know prior to his conversation with them, so they could confirm their own biases to go after Williams. And there's a high likelihood that Cole and Asaro conspire together to plant evidence in Williams' car. Both of those have as high a likelihood as you claiming that he did it.
There's not good evidence that Cole and Asaro conspired to plant evidence. That's a conspiracy theory.
No, that's not.
Yeah, Asaro's key to the car didn't even work, and
I address this. There are witnesses that saw her breaking into his car.
I don't know why you're over talking again.
Because you're saying something I've already addressed.
I know the witnesses. No, I know the witnesses who testified to her accessing the vehicle because I read the 900 page trial transcripts from the 2001 case, and you did not, Jovan. I am aware of those witnesses. They were testifying to her accessing the car in the years following the murder, not in the months and year preceding the court case or investigation, in which she had to get officers to pop the lock with a screwdriver because her key didn't work at this point. And this was a few days after Cole had gotten out of prison, when he didn't even know who she was until meeting Marcelllus. So how exactly did they plant the evidence in the car, Jovan?
What are you talking about? Asaro could have planted the evidence at any time. And by the way, the evidence is the calculator. That's it. That's the only thing found in the car that was linked to Gail. The ruler was not linked to her. It was not reported missing. The only link is that it came from the same place she worked. That's it.
It was confirmed to come from Post Dispatch. So you think that this guy who never before had any contact with, or who never before knew the victim or had any relation to the victim, just happened to have the ruler with her workplace.
Yeah, I think if you can't show that the ruler was taken from her, then it's inadmissible.
Okay, all right. You can think that it's inadmissible. You know more about law than the judge does. That's fine. The point is that Cole's testimony alone is irrefutable evidence, I think, in anybody's eyes.
No, it's not. Please be for real right now.
You can't explain how he knew how the house was laid out, how the staircase was laid out.
I've explained it to you 3 times.
You've explained it by conspiracy theorizing. The police fed him all this information. Well, how did he have a note with information about the murder in his sock that he didn't pull out, and that the investigators who were interviewing him did not know about until he pulled it out of his sock on tape, and the jury watched this section of the tape?
So now the linchpin is that he had a note?
No, I'm just giving more. I'm just giving more evidence that's surprising on your conspiracy theory.
That's your proof that the police couldn't have planted evidence in his mind, is that he had a note on him?
No, Jovan. I don't know. When I cite something, I'm not citing one thing as irrefutable proof. I'm just pointing out more and more and more and more things that are surprising on your crazy conspiracy theory. Except
him having a note is not surprising.
It is when
it doesn't show anything.
It is when supposedly all the details about the case were just implanted in his mind by the people interviewing him.
Oh, wait. So now all the details of the case were on the note?
No, I'm telling you there were details of the case on the note.
What details of the case were on the note?
I believe it was details about how he was stabbed, that the chunk of meat taken out of her arm when she was stabbed.
How about you tell me 100% instead of I think?
I mean, I can control F through the transcripts. I was hoping you would have read them, though.
Sure, let's do that. Control F through the transcripts. Let's do that. Tell me specifically what was on the note.
Yeah, hold on. I'll get it for you. There's just 201 mentions of notes in here, so it might take me a minute. Yeah, so here, the note included the knife being stuck in the neck. That's one thing that is stated 100% in here that's included.
The knife being stuck in the neck was known. That
was not in any media report before Henry Cole got out of prison.
Baloney.
You're lying. Do you want me to read you from the trial transcript where both the fact that that's in the note is mentioned and where the fact it wasn't in any media reports at the time were mentioned?
Go ahead.
All right, will do. So here's the first part about the note. We have Henry Cole. They really try and get around this note, and there's no getting around it. It was done before Henry was even picked up by the police. So what if it wasn't in the police report about the conversation? It was in the police report and the other body of the report. What Henry Cole said on the tape about the knife being stuck in the neck, you can see it right here for yourself. It's right here, pointing to the note. Now, let's talk about if that was known by the media at the time. Let me find where they're talking about the news reports. Let's see where this is at. Okay. Oh, why is my computer shutting off? I'll have to go into my other one. Somewhere around page 350 of the 2001. Let me just pull it up. Okay. So here is the interview with, let's see. I can get all the way back to the beginning of it and see who they're interviewing here. Charles Shipman, Assistant Director of News Research at the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. This is going to be from his testimony. So I'll go to the part where they talk about the stabbing in the neck. Okay, so let's see.
Just FYI, the knife being in the neck was in the original police report, which is public information, just FYI.
So here,
Not redacted or anything.
These details from the police report will be public information now. They're not going to be public information while they're actively investigating a case.
Police report? What? They weren't actively investigating the case by this time. It was a closed case. It was cold. So
They don't release details of cold
yes,
cases.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. What are you talking about?
Are you actually?
Yes, they do.
Don't ad hom right now. Don't ad hom right now. Don't ad hom right now.
Who's ad homing?
They withhold information so that if they interview someone, they can tell whether or not they're fucking lying.
The knife in her neck was well known. You still haven't proved that it wasn't.
Okay, let me read to you from the transcript. So, here they're going through asking about if anything is in the public record or in any news media statement at the time. All right, let's put let's put up a second date, 11/17/99. On that date and prior, is there any article that mentions anything about the knife, where it's found, where the knife is found, anything about the knife, or where it's found in the home? Okay, and then they're saying up to August 15th, 1999. What does it say? A knife was found near her body. What I'm asking, okay, so then then they go on to ask where the knife was found in the home, and then here later on they come back to this. Okay, could you repeat that? What does it say about where she was stabbed in the articles? You mean like where in her body? Gil was stabbed in the upper body and head. All right, upper body and head. What I want to know is, and I want you to look at every article between the very first one and all the way up through June 4th and tell me where in those articles it says that the neck, where does it say that the neck bone or neck? In other words, when you go through those, pick out every article that says where this woman was stabbed, what it says where. I think you'll find the only one is September 11th of 98. It's the article that says where she was stabbed, and it says upper body and head. And I think you're going to find that's the entire description of where she was stabbed, but you take your time and see if that's right. Okay, yes, that is correct. And the only reference to where the woman was stabbed is upper body and head. Is that right? That's correct. No mention of neck, no mention of neck. What about left it in the neck? Where do you see in any article, all of them, look up through June 4th, all the way through June 4th and show me. I've looked through all these and I've seen no reference to the neck. So no reference to leaving the knife in the neck, correct? That's correct. That's from the assistant director from Post-Dispatch.
Yep, up to 1999.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing Cole didn't come forward in 1999.
I think here they're talking about Asaro's testimony, and then they talk about Cole's a little bit further on. But the point is, so you're really thinking that the police released in the police report publicly prior, while they're still actively investigating the crime?
Cases all the time. They do this for cold cases literally all the time.
In this case, you think that the fact the knife was in the neck was released by the police?
When was the police report? When was the police report public information?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, police reports are typically public information after they're filed.
For cold cases?
Yes.
Yeah, so you think that, and you think that like any of these details that weren't released to news media, they're just going to publicize as soon as the case goes cold?
I think they're going to publicize it well before that.
I mean, I'll let the audience decide how like stupid you are for saying that, but we can move on.
Oh, well, no. See, because now you want to move on. Show me when the police report was unsealed.
I don't know when the police report was unsealed. I already said that.
You don't. So your whole basis is that he knew information that was not available public, like the knife being found in the neck, yet the police report has all of that information, and police reports typically are not sealed for years and years on cold cases.
Yeah, so I'm just going to let the audience decide about whether Jovan's speculation about the court case being unsealed while the investigation is not closed is more likely to be true than, the investigators testifying to the court under oath that
investigators have never lied under oath. Yeah,
to the knowledge.
Wow, investigators have never lied under oath before. Wow.
Well, people are a hell of a lot less likely to lie under oath than they are to just lie on TikTok.
Definitely never happened. Wow.
Yeah, I said it never happened. Good job, Jovan.
Definitely. Police definitely don't lie under oath, for sure.
Do you think that you're making a good point right now?
Police don't. I think you're running from the point, and you want to let the audience decide.
The point is,
no, I think you're running from the point.
Everything you've said so far has been wrong.
I think you're running from the point.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
What point? What point?
The point that he very easily could have seen the police report. The fact that
you haven't shown that.
The fact that the news after 1999 could have had all of this information about what happened, where the knife was in the neck. Plain and simple.
You haven't shown that information was easily available.
You haven't shown that it wasn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you showed that it wasn't up until 1999. When did Cole come forward? It wasn't 1999.
Well, Asaro, no, Cole did come forward in 1999. I'll find the date for you. See if it's on here. Let's see. Yeah, it was prior to June 4th, 1999.
When Cole was interviewed by police or when he came forward?
Yeah, when he was interviewed by police. It was prior to June 4th, 1999. Because they sent him back out to help them look for evidence June 4th, 1999. It states that they sent him back out to see if he could find the backpack in June 4th, 1999. It says that very on the trial transcripts here.
So, answer me this. How come in the court case they don't ask about the police report? How come they only ask about articles and not about the police report specifically?
Well, because the police report is going to be presumably that's already going to be part of the court's records. They don't need to bring it in.
No, why didn't they
Everybody
ask?
knows.
Why didn't they ask?
The judge and defense and prosecutors know that the police report's not public record.
I'm asking, you're saying, well, they asked about what was known from news articles, but they didn't ask about what was known from the police report, especially considering that in Missouri, police reports are public record when they're filed.
You know that Cole was in prison when this crime was committed, right?
Somebody being in prison doesn't mean they don't have access to looking at a police report.
But it's certainly evidence for it, and you're also just speculating when it's stated by the investigators under oath this information couldn't be known except by the killer.
Again, no. You literally just said, well, him being in jail is evidence that he can't get access to a police report, right? What? No, it's not.
Yeah, evidence. Yeah, it's evidence.
No, it's not. In any way, shape, or form.
I'm going to let the audience decide how stupid you are for saying that again.
You love letting the audience decide instead of arguing the actual points.
Because the points you make aren't even worth my time to respond to. They're so bad. Yeah, why do you think if this is a serious thing that people were saying, why do you think the defense didn't bring it up? Why do you think the defense would have loved to say this information was publicly available? It was in the police report. Look, he could have just got it from the police report. Guess what? The defense didn't say that because they're not fucking morons like Jovan.
The whole point of the appeal is that his defense was ineffective. You think there aren't defenses, that there are easy dunks on cases that they fucking don't bring shit up and somebody who's innocent goes to prison? Is this a joke?
There was never once a single appeal where the defense was charged with failing to bring up the police report. There's not a single appeal based on that.
I'm not saying that what the fuck are you talking about? I'm saying that the whole point of the appeals is that his counsel was ineffective for failing to impeach the state's witnesses. They were ineffective at failing to impeach the state's witnesses. If they could have impeached Cole by showing that Cole had information of the case and they didn't do it, then they were ineffective for failing to impeach him. That's what the whole appeal is about. What are you talking about?
That's not what the appeal was about, because what you're saying is that the defense failed. What you're saying, I'm gonna excuse me. What you're saying is that the defense appealed and impeached the witness, being the investigator, for saying that this information was not public knowledge when it was, if it was available in the police report. No appeal was ever filed based on that. Now answer me, was an appeal ever filed based on that? Yes or no? You can unmute your microphone.
You gotta fucking mute out the conversation. His appeal,
like you're an overtalker.
Was that the counsel was ineffective for failing to investigate and present evidence to impeach Cole and Asaro. If Cole was impeachable because he knew the facts prior to and they didn't do it, that's what the thing is claiming, that they were ineffective about providing that evidence that would have impeached him as a witness. Like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Can you repeat back which two witnesses they impeached, or they said they failed to impeach?
Cole and Asaro.
Right, not the investigator that said this information wasn't public knowledge.
Oh my fucking God. You don't understand what I'm saying and you don't understand what you're saying.
And none of the things that they said they failed to impeach them on were relating to this being public knowledge, by the way.
Yes, it was.
This was not on any of the appeals. You're lying. You're lying.
I'm literally not.
Yes, this being public knowledge in the police report was never brought up in a single appeal, Jovan. It was never brought up in a single appeal.
You want to play dumb?
You're lying. You are a lying scumbag.
If you want to play dumb, we're going to play dumb. If you want to play dumb, we're going to play dumb. They literally
You're a lying scumbag, Jovan.
If you want to play dumb, we're going to play dumb.
You're a lying scumbag. Was this in any of the appeals? Was this in any of the appeals, Jovan?
I know you just want to ad hom now because you're fucking frustrated. But if you want to play dumb,
was this in any of the appeals, Jovan?
Yes.
Was this in any of the appeals?
Yes.
Was the
fucking appeals?
So you're saying yes. The fact. So sorry. Just to be clear, you're saying the fact that the knife being left in the neck was in a police report was included in one of the appeals.
No,
yes.
In the appeal is that he could have gotten the information from other places to have known the intimate details of the case that you claim he couldn't have known. That's what's in the appeal.
You said that it was in the police report.
Fucking, you're so stupid. You're so dumb. You
straight up don't understand. Why don't you just give up this point?
You're dumb.
Yeah. So okay. You're smarter than the people that did all the appeals.
No, shut your fucking coon ass up. I'm not talking to
you. Hey, why are you slurring, Jovan?
I don't give a fuck.
That's like all you and Athena do.
I don't care. I'm not talking. Am I talking to you? Am I talking to you? Oh, that's right. Am I talking to you? Am I talking to you?
Was I ever talking to this?
Am I talking to you?
Wait,
yeah, we're gonna let Black Voices speak. Julian can finish his statement, and then Jovan can respond.
Am I talking?
Say what you want to say, Julian.
Yeah, I mean, instead of letting Jovan's conspiracy theory over the panel, we should have him submit evidence for all the claims he makes about the case.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Jovan should actually go file an appeal with the Supreme Court and include in this that actually this information about the knife being left in the neck was public information in the police report. Guys, we didn't think about this all along. He could have just read the police report.
Wait, why is the Jovan
report was sealed? You have to prove that. Show that the police report was sealed up until the point that Cole went to the police. Show it right now.
You're making the claim that it wasn't. Stop shifting the burden of proof.
The burden of proof is not. What are you talking about? By nature, police reports are unsealed.
Police reports are unsealed on ongoing investigations. Yep.
They're unsealed on cold cases too. You don't know what you're talking about.
You tell me when it was unsealed, Jovan. You made the claim that it was unsealed.
Police reports are unsealed when they're filed. by nature, as soon as a police
show me
report
where
is
this one
filed,
was. Show me
by
proof this one was
nature,
unsealed.
as soon as a police report is filed, you can put in a Freedom of Information Act request and get the information. You can do it. Fucking media outlets can do it. But the only evidence that you have is the person who was at the Sun saying, "Well, we didn't publish any articles with the knife in the neck story." Like they're the only fucking news game in town. Yet you can't show that the police report was sealed at any point.
Okay, so let's just suppose that Jovan's crazy conspiracy theory that the police report was unsealed, which he's failed to show and can't show, is true. Let's just suppose that that's true. Are these public requests for information? Are these requests for information public? So in other words, is the person who requested the information's details given to the government when they make these requests for information?
Unless it's an organization.
So then, if it was the case that Cole Hurd requested this information, his name would be on the record as having requested it. Yes?
Who requests a police report public information? No, that's not public information.
Oh, you just said yes a second ago. Okay, so that's not they don't record people's names when they ask them for police report. That's not something the court would have access to who requested the police report, you're saying?
It depends on how the police report is released. What are you talking about? No, they're not able to see every single person who put in a Freedom of Information Act request to look at every single piece of evidence. No.
Okay,
What?
sure. But so then I just want to know, what's your evidence that this was unsealed?
Again, by nature, police reports are unsealed. You have to show me it was
I
sealed.
want you to cite a source that this one was unsealed.
You would have to show me that it was sealed in the first place.
Well, you're shifting the burden of proof. You claimed it was
No,
unsealed.
I'm not. All police reports by nature are unsealed.
I've already given evidence that it wasn't. I'm just waiting for you to uphold
didn't.
your burden of proof and claiming that it was sealed or unsealed.
You didn't give information that it wasn't.
Yeah, I just told you that I told you that the investigator testified, under oath and was examined and cross-examined, saying that this information wasn't available to the public. The defense would have been free to make the case that it was public information. It was in the police report, and the judge would have been able to evaluate that. None of these things are brought up because they're ridiculous, and you're just making them up.
Was the police report sealed? Yes or no?
I just told you that if you're saying it was sealed, you need to show that. You need to give proof.
The public didn't know the information. You're not saying if the police report was sealed. You're being very cautious to not say that because you know that it wasn't.
No, I don't know. I'm waiting for you to prove that it wasn't.
Oh my fucking God. Again.
You're not going to do it, are you?
Again. Because police reports by nature are unsealed.
Yeah, you've claimed that, but I'm looking for the evidence this particular one was
in
unsealed.
order for it to be unsealed, it would first have to be sealed, correct? Correct?
Right.
So show
right.
me it was sealed in the first place.
Jovan,
his police
you're
report
the one
wasn't
claiming
sealed.
it was unsealed.
You don't know how police reports work.
You're just continually shifting the burden of proof.
I'm not shifting anything. The police report was not sealed.
Yeah, but do you agree with this? If the police report was unsealed, then this information about the case was public information.
If the police report was unsealed, was the police report public information?
No, if the police report was unsealed, was this information about the knife being left in the neck public information?
Yes, the whole point is that he could have gotten the information, he could have gotten the information prior to talking to detectives.
So you are saying that the investigator lied under oath and that the defense didn't address it at all, and the court didn't address it at all.
Sure, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, okay. And then you've given no reason to think that's the case, right?
My reason is that the police reports were never sealed.
Your reason is that I haven't proven to you that it was unsealed.
You haven't shown that it was sealed in the first place.
Yeah, right. So the court. So this is what happened then. The investigator lied under oath. The defense failed to challenge it. The court failed to look into it. It was never brought up in any appeal. And the reason why we believe this happened is because Amdir failed to uphold his burden of proof in showing Jovan that the court case was unsealed.
You're going to show if it was sealed or not?
That's a very compelling case that you have there, Jovan.
Are you going to show it was sealed or not?
I think that I think I'm good on that.
Yeah, because you can't. Thanks.
Yep. I think that you actually have found the most plausible explanation of what happened.
Yeah, you can't show that the police report was ever sealed, and you're claiming, and your whole claim is, well, there's no way the public could have known this information, even though the police report was never sealed. The news reporters not reporting on something is not evidence that the public couldn't know this information.
I didn't. That's not what I said. I said it's not just the news reporters. It's the investigators saying that nobody would have access to this information other than the killer.
And based on what?
Based on because the investigation only released certain facts to the public. They didn't release all the facts to the public.
Again, I don't know how many times I have to say this. I feel like I'm fucking talking to a brick wall here. You can't tell me that it was sealed. So you're making the claim that this was absolutely sealed. My claim is it was never sealed. So the burden of proof is not on me. The burden of proof is on you to show that it was sealed in the first place.
That's not how burden of proof works, Joe.
Yes, it is.
If somebody, I didn't make a claim.
How can I prove something that never happened? How can I prove something that never happened?
I didn't make a claim that it was sealed or unsealed. No, Jovan, I didn't make a claim that it was sealed or unsealed. I made a claim based on investigators' testimony that this information wasn't available to them at the time. Now, you're claiming that no, the police report was unsealed and public information at the time that Cole came forward with his testimony, June 4th, prior to June 4th, 1999.
Only the investigators were
You're
wrong.
the one making. You're the one making the claim here. So you have a burden of proof to show that this was an unsealed police report prior to June 4th, 1999. I'm waiting for you to uphold that.
How do I? Again, are you fucking just doing this? I know you're trying to get a rise out of me because it's the only way you're going to win the fucking argument. I can't show you something was unsealed if it was never sealed in the first place.
Yeah, you can show that You can show that it was public. Okay, all right, Jovan.
Public information would be that the police report was available. You would have to show that it was sealed and not available to the public. And the only thing you have to show that is the investigator saying, well, the public couldn't have known this information. The investigator easily could be wrong about that. Oftentimes, the public knows information that the investigators think are nonsensical to the public, are unknown to the public.
The fact
you
that
have to show. You
just,
can't do it. You can't do it. Just admit you can't do it.
No, I've already said a bunch of times that I don't have that information on hand, but nor do I need it. If it was the case that those were those police reports were unsealed and available to the public at that time, that would have been a way more damning avenue of appeal than all of the other random shit they threw at the wall in the span of 20 years to try to get this guy acquitted, or to try to get a mistrial.
Again,
they didn't do it. They didn't do it.
First appeal, in the very first appeal, they mentioned the fact that Cole could have known this information.
They didn't at any point cite this police report being unsealed.
I'm not saying they did. Did I just say that? Yes. Is that what I just said?
No, but that's exactly
great.
what I'm asking you.
That's
exactly what you're supposed to be addressing.
Yeah, I know. You can't tell me if the police report was sealed, and so you want to keep moving to other things because you can't tell me the police report was ever
I'm
sealed.
asking you why wasn't
you let Jovan
Julian?
substantiate his own point instead of...
Was I talking to you? Was I talking to you?
But why
never
don't
going to substantiate his own point here? He's just going to keep
it's like
deflecting.
unfair that he
Was I
just gets
talking
to
to you?
speculate again and again and again without giving any source. He just
You
been giving
can't show me it was sealed, bro. You guys are so disingenuous.
that's not even his job, and
You're so
he gave reason
disingenuous,
to think that he gave reason to actually think that it wasn't sealed. But I mean, it was sealed. But like, regardless, that's not his burden of proof. It's your burden of proof to show the point because you made the claim.
You can't show something was never sealed. What are you talking about?
You can show something was public.
Oh my fucking God.
I don't even know what he's claiming.
This has to be
Obviously, you
a
can
fucking
show something was public.
You can show the police report was available for information request on this date and wasn't sealed. That's what you can show. And I would love to see that for a date prior to June 4th, 1999. including in the police report details about, the knife being left in the neck, because sometimes they will leave certain details redacted, especially for investigations like this, where they want details to be able to convict the murderer on and make sure testimonies are accurate and reliable. But did he just leave?